When should you cut off access to your life from your friends? When should you cut out your friends of your life? When should you cut your friends off from your life? I'm saying all of these things. They all mean the same thing. I'm Travis MCP here, and you're listening to the MCP Cast. Well, I was thinking about this because I think it's becoming more and more relevant over the course of the last, 6 months for sure, if not even longer than that. We live in a very unfortunate time, definitely an incredibly divisive time, so divisive. And it's painful. It's painful for someone like me who, generally speaking, just wants peace. I don't want a whole bunch of bullshit. I just want peace. I just want nice things to happen to nice people. And unfortunately, especially in the United States, we are in a time in the country's history that I think is terrible. We are so divided, very divided, over things that, some things that are important, some things that are not important. For me, I think it's super important to remember the people in your lives and give them priority over bullshit. And that's always been my thing. But if you've been paying attention, there's a lot of things going on that fundamentally impact people here in the United States. And people take a side, and they take a very strong side, not because they are connected necessarily politically to whoever is in charge of their thoughts, but that fundamentally who they are is being affected. Back in the 80s and stuff, I just remember political stuff being, are you a Republican or a Democrat? And there were just slight differences between the two, and you just picked one. And while they made fun of each other and they poked holes in each other's, it never seemed that bad. It's like civil war at this point here, and it's terrible. And I bring this up because it's this kind of unbelievable tribalism that has impacted friends and family, and sometimes make you cut people off based on their political views. Now, I have like a layer system of how people know me. I have people that are like acquaintances, which we all have. I have people that are friends, and I have people that are best friends / family. And depending on where you are in that sort of ladder of importance to me, will dictate how quickly I'm going to toss your ass out. You know what I mean? If you're an acquaintance and you treat me any kind of way sideways, you're out. You're done. You might not even realize that I left, but that's it. It's a wrap. You're done, son. And that's usually pretty simple. Friends, people who I maybe communicate with more on a more frequent kind of time thing, like maybe every day, every other day, maybe a couple times a week, or maybe once a week. A lot of times, depending on what it is that we disagree on, or what it is they've done or said, will dictate whether or not I will talk to them again, or if I will try to understand their side of it. Because, when I was younger, and even to the degree this point now, I like to understand the other side of things. Like if I believe one thing, I do want to understand the other side. But at some point, you come to a conclusion that maybe that other side is just bullshit, and you don't want to be a part of it. And that's just a wrap. That's what it is. It's over. That's it. The conversation's done. And when that happens, friendships can go awry, and it can go, you just let someone go because of their beliefs. And I get that. And I actually don't have a problem necessarily with that. But what we've seen, especially over this holiday season, is you'll see people leaving family members and deep friends over their political beliefs. And again, to me, it's not just political beliefs. No matter what side of the fence you are on a lot of this stuff, there are fundamental things that people voted for or didn't vote for, believe in, and believe that people who are in leadership or not in leadership are kind of representing themselves. So it's more than just Democrat versus Republican. And in some ways, I've talked about this in the tech field. So I said this before. Why do people like, the iPhone versus Samsung? And people go, oh, iPhone's better, but they're like so hardcore about it. It's because they put some of their value into the phone. And they're like, if someone says something bad about my iPhone, I'm gonna come at them. When in reality, these public figures should not represent you in that deeply. But unfortunately, because of some of the things they're talking about, they kind of do. So it becomes a war. So I saw some people going, man, it's so dumb that people are leaving each other over, who they voted for and stuff. But I actually understand why. Because it's not just who they voted for. It's a lot of times things that affect them directly and who they are. And if you can't accept that, then they feel rejected at a core place. And it's like, well, we can't be friends. We actually can't be friends. That is difficult. You know, figuring out when to cut someone off in your life. If I had asked this question a year ago, it's completely different. It's pretty simple. If someone like does you wrong, but in a way that's like malicious, and they're not caring about the impact, and they're not going to try to fix things, that's pretty easy. If you're in a relationship and they cheat on you, it's usually a good time to leave, like those things, right? But now it's this gray area, because when the politicians leave and they're not doing their thing, you still got your friend or your family that's still there. It sucks. Like, this is, for me, one of the worst times in history. Just, it's so divisive. No matter what side of the fence you're on, it sucks right now. Everyone hates everyone. It's terrible. And someone needs to understand that and bring us all together. But can that even be done anymore? I feel like I've recently heard the way some people have felt over the last 4 years, when I just thought everything was fine, because I'm not really paying that close attention. And they felt like they were being pushed things on them. And that's why they hate the side they were on then. And now they're on another side, which is the opposite of maybe their friends and family. Like, wait a minute, what the fuck happened to you? They're like, well, I feel like I've been forced to feel a certain way for the last however long, and now I feel the other way. That's terrible too. So what am I doing? For the things that I believe in that I think are common fucking sense, which I think a lot of things are going out there that are being attacked, a lot of them are common sense. And I'm like, why are they being attacked? It makes zero sense. I still wait. I hope someday Ashton Kutcher comes out and says, this has all been a joke. You've been pranked. The last 10 years has been a prank. None of this stuff happened. Last 12 years, whatever it is. It's all been a prank. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is where we are. And some people have been radicalized. Some people have been just pushed. Other people's are being force embedded into their belief style now because of what's going on in this moment. So it's actually it's doing the opposite of what it should be doing. We need to all find a common ground. But I think we might be, as a society, at least the United States, past common sense. I feel like common sense is gone. And that's scary. That's genuinely scary to me. Because without that, what is humanity? What is left? What do we have left? If we can't have each other, if we can't believe in each other, someone maybe you've known as a good friend for 10, 20, 30 years, and you've got to say goodbye because they don't believe in your political beliefs, that's insane. That's insane. It should not be that way. But again, we're at a time right now where a lot of the political stances aren't just political stances. They're not just, funding for this or funding for that. It's, I believe this thing, and they're trying to take it away or they're trying to implement it. Whatever side you're on, both things are happening. And it is a core belief system in humans, and it makes it very difficult. This is a very difficult time to be a human being in the United States. I would never want to bring a child up in this society right now. It's terrible. It's trash in every conceivable possible way. Is there hope? I don't think so. I know that's going to sound real. I think it sounds real bad. I don't think there is. I think we're done. I think as a species, we're probably done. We're wrapping it up. But if I'm wrong, cool. I would love to see a nice society where everyone loves everybody. Everyone's getting along. Everyone's helping each other. And there's no hate. But that's just not a thing that's going to happen. The human race is flawed fundamentally. Generally speaking, we all look out for ourselves, even though we might do well for others. You kind of have to look out for yourself because no one else is really going to do it. I mean, they might a little bit, but never to the degree that you need it. You have to watch out for yourself first, even if you're someone who likes to help others. I like to help others all the time. I do it a lot. Since becoming a YouTuber, I've done so many things for random people, spent thousands of dollars behind the scenes helping people out and tons of hours just because I want to help others. And not making any videos about it. Most people don't know about 99% of the stuff I've done for other people. I like doing that. But there comes a time when if you just give, and you don't have anything left because of everything else that's going on in the world, you're not in a position to help anyone else. And we live right now in a society that's so stressful and so negative that I don't even see how it's possible to help anybody else, how to be a good human being. There's just so much pressure and stress. And if you had a loved one or family member or a deep friend that fundamentally disagrees with you on something, it's a hard situation to overcome. I think you need to be adult enough to be able to have a conversation about it and be real. Like, do you fundamentally believe this thing that I believe in or not? And if you don't, you got to talk it out and say, is this something that we can move past, just agree to disagree and still maintain the friendship that we have? Or if it's a family member, and then see what happens from there. But there will be some people who've probably already done this, that are watching this or listening to this on an audio podcast, that have already said, no, I can't do it, and I've got to let you go. What a world we live in. How many times in our history has that been a thing? Has it been a thing very often in our history? I mean, civil rights, I'm sure. The Civil War, probably. Probably, is that the last time that something like that happened in the United States anyway? The last big social thing that people disagreed about, whether or not you should have slaves, for God's sake? Is that where we are now? Maybe start Vietnam War stuff, maybe? Again, war? War is the last time we really were at each other's throats over this? And this is what we're after each other now? Human species is pathetic, man. You know what is a great species? Dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are fantastic. I love Nathan. Nathan, my dog that passed away 2 years ago, one of the greatest experiences I ever had was having that dog for over a decade. Showed me what true love was. And humans, for the most part, cannot show you the love of a dog, which is crazy to say, but it's 100% true. If you've never owned a dog, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you've owned a dog, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Why can't we treat each other like dogs? I suppose we just rather treat each other like shit. Anyway, just a thought I had while I was cooking my dinner, and I wanted to share it with you. Not a long podcast, but something I just wanted to see what y'all thought about. If you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you so much. Leave me a 5-star review if you're on Apple Podcasts. And if you're here on the YouTube channel, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Have you had to cut off a friend? And if you did, why? Man, that sucks. Anyway, peace and love. I'll see you next time.